Once upon a time, in a small town at the edge of a great forest, lived a curious girl named Ava. She loved building things, teeny robots, glowing lanterns, and even flying paper birds powered by solar panels. One evening, she heard a soft humming sound coming from the forest, so she grabbed her trusty gadget bag and went to investigate. As she ventured deeper into the woods, the sound grew louder. Suddenly, the trees began to glow faintly and the leaves swayed, as if they were alive. Startled but intrigued, Ava touched one of the trees and it glowed brighter. Just then, a deep voice echoed through the forest. "Ava, I have waited for you. Our forest is in danger. Will you help?" The voice seemed to come from the very tree Ava had touched. Overwhelmed, Ava could only nod her head in response. The tree, now radiating a brilliant light, revealed its identity. It was the tech tree, an ancient being with roots of silver and branches sparkling with crystal leaves. The tech tree explained that the surrounding trees had been whispering to Ava, trying to get her attention. But why her? What was so special about this curious girl from the small town? Ava was confused, but determined to help. The tech tree continued, "Our forest is dying. The river that once flowed through here has dried up because of a dam upstream. Without water, our roots wither and our leaves fall. Only someone with a kind heart and a clever mind can help us." Looking into Ava's determined eyes, the tech tree knew he had found the right person. Taking a deep breath, Ava promised to do whatever it took to save the forest. "I want to fix the river," she declared. And so the tech tree led Ava to the heart of the forest where the river should have been flowing. All that remained was a dried-up creek bed and a tangle of withered vines. There, nestled among the roots of some smaller trees, lay a large fallen log. With a gentle touch, Ava examined the wood. It was sturdy, but too big to move. "Not to worry," chirped a friendly voice. Suddenly, a tiny ladybug landed on Ava's shoulder. "What?" Ava asked, surprised. "I said, don't worry. We may be small, but together we can move that log," the ladybug replied with a wink. Ava smiled and agreed. She just needed a way to make the log easier to roll. As she family gathered brightly colored markers and arranged them in a line beside the log. Then she turned to the ladybug. "Can you see those markers? They spell out instructions for how to build a lever. If we follow them, we can move the heavy log. But where would they find such large stones?" The ladybug looked up at the sky. "Let's ask the birds." Soon, a flock of colorful birds swooped down from the trees. Understanding Ava's request, the birds flew away. Moments later, they returned with twigs and leaves, spelling out the word waterfall. Ava and the ladybird followed the birds until they reached a clearing where water cascaded over a rock face. This waterfall would be perfect to harness the power of moving water and make the log float. Ava raced back to the dried-up creek bed, excited to put her plan into action. There, the tech tree awaited patiently. "So how will you fix the river?" it asked. Ava pointed to the waterfall. "If we can channel the waterfall's flow into the creek, we can make the river flow again. That means we can save the forest." The tech tree nodded approvingly. "A clever plan indeed. And you will need all your smarts and kindness to bring it to life." As Ava set to work, she felt the weight of the tech tree's words. She had to be clever and kind to succeed. First, she needed to redirect the waterfall's flow. But how? Then she noticed something. The rocks near the waterfall had flat surfaces that looked like puzzle pieces. Could they fit together to form a channel? Carefully, she moved the rocks, revealing a smooth, shallow channel beneath. Ava realized she could channel the waterfall's flow through the pre-existing channel. All she needed to do was guide it there. She remembered the birds mentioning something about a bird bath. An idea sparked in Ava's mind. Bird baths hold water, right? If she used several bird baths connected together, they could collect water from the waterfall and distribute it evenly along the channel, ensuring a steady flow. Excited, she raced to gather as many bird baths as she could. Back at the creek bed, Ava arranged the bird baths in a row, forming a makeshift pipeline. Then she returned to the waterfall to complete her invention. Ava dipped her hand into the water and sent a spray of droplets into the air. As they hit the first bird bath, the water started to flow along the channel. Ava's heart soared as she saw the first drops reaching the end of the channel and disappearing into the dry earth. But something wasn't right. The water wasn't flowing steadily. It was trickling drop by drop. Frustrated, Ava pondered how to fix it. Then she noticed a small hole in one of the bird baths. Water flowed more steadily from the other holes. She needed to reduce the amount of water flowing through each bird bath. Ava sat down, pulling her knees to her chest. How could she reduce the flow? Suddenly, she remembered her friend Zara and her love for animals. Maybe some creatures from the forest could help. Ava hurried back to the forest and soon spotted a group of beavers swimming in the creek. Explaining her problem, Ava asked for their assistance. The beavers, always eager to help, immediately got to work. Using their strong teeth, they gnawed down branches and created dams across the birdbath channel, slowing the water's flow. With the beavers' help, Ava successfully reduced the water flow, making sure each birdbath held just enough to distribute a steady stream along the channel. As the sun began to set, Ava looked back at the creek bed. The river was flowing once again. Cheers echoed through the forest as animals rushed to the rejuvenated river. Birds tweeted, squirrels chattered, and fish splashed joyfully. Turning to Ava, the tech tree glowed warmly. "You have brought life back to our forest. But remember, Ava, you couldn't have done it alone. You helped others and they helped you. That is the true source of your power." Suddenly, a gentle breeze rustled through the leaves. Ava turned to see her friends, Liam, Zara, and Kenji, approaching. Each held a unique item, a paintbrush, a whistle, and a book. "I brought my paint to mark the way," said Liam, the artist. "I have my whistle to call the animals," added Zara, the animal whisperer. "And I brought stories to keep your spirits high," said Kenji, the storyteller. Together, they were the tech tree explorers. The tech tree glowed brightly, welcoming the new arrivals. "Welcome, tech tree explorers. Your journey to help our forest is just beginning." And so the tech tree explorers set to work. They used Liam's map skills to navigate the forest, Zara's animal knowledge to find materials, and Kenji's storytelling to keep everyone motivated. Yet they still needed a way to lift the heavy log blocking the river. Then Ava stepped forward with an idea. She remembered the lever they had built earlier. It was strong enough to move the log, but they needed a way to make it spin and rotate. Ava looked around and spotted a fallen pinwheel. She raced over and carefully examined it. The pinwheel was made of two connected pieces, a central hub and a pair of curved blades. Could she attach the blades to the lever, creating a wheel and axle system? Excited, she ran to grab her tools and began assembling her invention. Using wire and some scrap wood, she attached the blades to the lever. Now all she needed was a way to make the wheel turn. Spotting a nearby squirrel, Ava approached it and offered some nuts. The squirrel, understanding Ava's request, dashed up a nearby tree and began gnawing on a nut. As the squirrel cracked the nut, Ava noticed its tail swishing back and forth. An idea struck her. Could she use the squirrel's tail to turn the wheel? Gently, she tied a string to the tail, leading it back to the lever. Then she placed another nut on the other side of the wheel. The squirrel scampered down the tree, eager for its reward. As the squirrel cracked the nut, its tail swished back and forth, turning the wheel and moving the log. With a final heave, the log shifted, revealing a clear path for the river to flow. The tech tree explorers cheered, celebrating their achievement. The tech tree glowed warmly. "You have proven that science, creativity, and kindness together can heal the world. Always use your gifts to protect life." As a reward, the tech tree dropped 3 glowing seeds into the explorers' hands. They watched in awe as the seeds transformed into beautiful floating lights, guiding their way home. The lights danced around them, filling the forest with magic and wonder. And so Ava and her friends learned that the greatest inventions are made when hearts and minds work together. They also learned that with creativity, teamwork, and kindness, we can heal our world.